Hello everyone, it's Harmony, and welcome to the visual raid guide for the Ascension Arcadia Championship Heavyweight M4. This is the final boss of the 8-player raid, introduced in patch 7.4 and is unlocked by completing the optional level 100 quest called Glory Incarnate. Just as a quick warning, you can fall off this arena's platform, and doing so will result in instant death, so be careful not to get too close to the outer edges of the battlefield. With that said, let's jump into the guide. The boss will begin with the Fixer, a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members. The boss will next cast Bloodshed, transforming one of its arms into a grotesque dragon head. You'll need to always stay on the opposite side of the dragon's head, as the boss will periodically use Serpentine Scourge. This is a quick half-room cleave that strikes on the same side as the boss's transformed arm. Ravenous Reach will cause the boss's transformed arm to lengthen and snake across the battlefield. You must quickly move behind the dragon head before the boss finishes casting Ravenous Reach, as the dragon will immediately unleash a massive frontal cone-shaped area of effect from its position. The boss's arm will then return to normal, and 3 lumps of flesh will fall at random locations around the battlefield. You must move as far away from these flesh lumps as possible, as they will eventually expand before bursting and damaging anyone caught within their area of effects. Cruel Coil pulls all players to the centre of the battlefield and binds them in place for 5 seconds. The boss will then jump onto the platform and periodically begin rotating, literally coiling around the group. You must escape through an opening that appears only between the boss's rotations. Cruel Coil will also instantly kill anyone who fails to escape this mechanic. Visceral Burst is a tank buster that damages both tanks, as well as any players standing nearby the initial targets. Each tank should keep their distance from the group and each other, while also using defensive cooldowns and shields to mitigate the incoming damage. Grotesquerie applies a 28-second debuff to all players called Bursting Grotesquerie. The boss will then use Ravenous Reach, which should be handled the same way as before. This is when Bursting Grotesquerie will begin to expire, causing all affected players to explode in a circular area of effect for unavoidable damage, spread out to prevent overlapping damage from one another. Splattershed is a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members, while also transforming both of the boss's arms. Feral Fission creates multiple, small circular area of effects across the battlefield in a fixed pattern. These indicate where the boss's arms will travel beneath the battlefield's platform. This is always immediately followed by Bring Down the House, which destroys the sections of platform directly under the boss's snaking arms. Both dragon heads will now appear at random locations along the north or south sides of the remaining battlefield. You must quickly move to avoid standing directly in front of these dragons, as each will unleash a frontal linear area of effect that spans the entire length of the battlefield. Venomous Scourge will target all players with a circular area of effect for unavoidable damage, spread out to prevent overlapping damage from one another. The boss will use Grotesquerie for a second time. This time it will apply either Flesh Forward or Flesh Back, along with the directed Grotesquerie debuff. To try and keep things simple, I'll explain each debuff individually. Flesh Forward lasts 7 seconds, and when it expires will push you forward in the direction you are facing. Flesh Back also lasts for 7 seconds and, as the name suggests, will knock you backward. You need to position yourself carefully to avoid being knocked off the edge of the platform. Fourth Wall Fusion will target one random player with a stack marker. The party will need to group up and stand together to share the incoming damage. Directed Grotesquerie lasts 32 seconds. When it expires, a cone-shaped area of effect will pulse outward from each affected player. You must make sure to aim your area of effect away from the rest of the group to avoid accidentally damaging each other. I want to quickly point out that from this point onward, if the boss has both arms transformed, the half-room cleave caused by Serpentine Scourge will originate from the arm that transformed most recently. These mechanics will now repeat with increased overlap until the boss is reduced to 0 health. At that point, the boss will revive and regenerate, although with a much smaller maximum health. Once regenerated, the boss will use Mindless Flesh, striking with multiple linear area of effects in rapid succession, while also targeting all players with a circular area of effect that deals unavoidable damage. You must spread out to avoid overlapping damage while also staying clear of the marked telegraphed areas. Finally, after the 5th linear area of effect, Mindless Flesh ends with a massive area of effect that covers almost the entire battlefield. Mindless Flesh can seem overwhelming at first, but stay calm and remember, things will become easier with practice. Splattershed is a group-wide attack that deals unavoidable damage to all party members. The boss will now only repeat Mindless Flesh and Splattershed until it has been defeated. Thank you for watching. If you found this guide helpful, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and, most importantly, take care of yourself and each other.